Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about ApeCoin.
Yep, everybody's talking about the apes today, dude. Today is Ape Day. What is today? It's
March 17th.
March 17th. It's officially Ape Day, dude. It's going to be a crypto holiday moving on because
I think you're right, dude.
I mean, if you're an ape holder, dude, this is a day to remember, dude. Because from what I'm seeing on Twitter, you're getting like, 6-figure airdrop. This has to be one of the biggest airdrops of all time. I mean, as far as value,
if you have a Bored Ape, yeah, I guess you deserve it. I mean, it's the single most valuable NFT out there, and then they just launched a token, and they did a 15% airdrop to all Bored Ape holders plus some, and some.
Which is not many. It's like roughly 4,000 to 5,000 holders, right?
Yeah. So
like it's any typical 10K PFP project,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, some people received 6K figure airdrops. So yeah, congratulations to you guys. I mean, that's you finally got liquidity for your Bored Ape without selling it, which is awesome. But what we want to talk about is the ApeCoin is going to support a brand new metaverse. What do we know about the metaverse, I-Man?
A little bit. We've heard about it here and there, inklings of it. But yeah, man, I mean, the honest answer is we know too much about it. Like it is all we think about. So
yeah,
news like this is obviously very important to us to digest and break down and to uncover any like potential implications of what it is, because this is as big as if Bitcoin announced to the world we're creating our own metaverse, in the sense. Like you said, there's no other NFT project bigger than Bored Apes at the moment. And if there is one, it's CryptoPunks. But if you're not aware, the same company that created the Bored Apes actually acquired the CryptoPunks. Now it's Yuga Labs. Now it's all under the same umbrella.
Yep.
Whatever's happening in the Bored Apes ecosystem most likely will happen to the CryptoPunk ecosystem, where they're going to merge at some point. And where's the perfect place to do that? The metaverse.
Yes.
And we've been saying this for so long. The metaverse is like the application layer to NFTs. Like, the whole NFT craziness is it's like a great ecosystem to like spin up IP, spin up like
generate revenue too.
Yeah, just different ways for people to build like a little bit more of like an identity with, but there's no actual good application to it yet. The metaverse is that open canvas where like you can literally just create worlds for these NFTs, right? And the Bored Apes, organization, they understand this very well because now they're partnered with Animoca. That's like Animoca's whole thesis. It's like they're investing in everything metaverse, so it's like it's the perfect marriage, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, last night I was reading this article. I think it was from TechCrunch. Or was it? No. Yeah, I think it was from TechCrunch.
Yeah, pretty much everybody pushed an article about this.
Yeah.
That's what's so wild. Everybody pushed an article. Every exchange is like rushing to list this token this morning.
Yes.
Yes. Even Coinbase, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I shared this article with the team, and the biggest takeaway that I found was this is exactly, so we were doing a podcast that was focused on DeFi for a good segment of 2020.
Sure.
And the conclusion that we came up with is like DeFi is really cool. It's going to change the world, but without a token, it's not going to take off. It's not going to, gain some traction in terms of like the crypto mines yet. And then all of a sudden they started coming out with tokens, and then we had this whole DeFi explosion. And so now with Bored Apes leading the pack in terms of NFT projects, releasing a token, and then going into the metaverse, we're going to see this exact same process from every single PFP project out there. And we've been in the metaverse since the launch of Decentraland. Even before that, we were building a product for Decentraland. So we know a lot about what it takes to build in the metaverse. And we anticipated this to happen with PFP projects. We knew this was going to happen. And then, I mean, to no surprise, Bored Apes is doing exactly what we anticipated to happen with these PFP projects. So,
yeah, I mean, but they're not the first to do this. It's not like
no, for sure. But
the world shouldn't credit like Bored Apes as like some grand innovator. If anything, they're like the best marketers in the whole space. But like when it comes to like innovation, technical or not, like there's no innovation here, as far as we could tell.
Yes.
But the point is like in a lot of cases, especially in crypto during bull markets, innovation means nothing. It's majority marketing is what matters more than anything.
That's right.
And
That's right.
the Bored Apes, the Yuga Labs organization, whatever, they are the marketing engineers of the entire NFT space. Like they're the ones who kind of kickstarted and galvanized the whole PFP mania, right? So it's good news for people like you and I, Willis, who are like deeply embedded in the metaverse space. Like they've decided to transition their focus into our space.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So all that means is
same thing happened with Zuckerberg.
Yeah, exactly. It's metaverse mass awareness 2.0, right? Because now it's not just Zuckerberg. Now Zuckerberg's got some competitors, right? Yeah. Now he's gonna have to compete with Bored Ape Land or whatever the fuck it's called.
But you said it best. I mean, the metaverse is the application layer for all these NFT projects, and this allows for not only additional revenue generation for these projects, and I mean I say that with the perspective of not only can the team generate revenue, but with the metaverse, landowners, people purchasing the content to deploy on land like metas are going to be generating that revenue. And so this is a big opportunity for everybody. And so they're going to be doing a land sale, and they're predicting, according to their deck, which apparently it leaked, right? It was leak worthy, that they're going to be generating roughly $300 to $455 million worth of land sales for 200,000 lands. So it's basically about an ETH for each land sale. So nobody knows the details yet. Obviously, they're not sharing it, but they're apparently going to try to do this land sale like in March, April timeframe. So
very soon. Yeah.
We're in March, by the way. But
which isn't surprising. It's not hard to sell land, right? Like it's just more NFTs. But who knows how long it's going to take to actually come out with beta version of their actual virtual world. They might take another year, right? This is how Decentraland started.
Yeah.
Launch your NFTs, launch the beta a year later. I'm
more than expecting that. It was more than that. It was like 2 or 3 years later.
That's true. Yeah, it takes time. It's hard to grasp the difficulty of building these virtual worlds. But if there's any organization who can like speed up that process, it's one like Yuga Labs with this infinite source of
brand power,
resources. Brand power, leverage, just financial resources, all this stuff, right? So this is going to be a big one. So let's compare it to the existing metaverses, just so you can get like an idea of potential upside, right?
Okay, so Decentraland launched their token in 2017. They did an ICO back when ICOs were cool. And so they raised like 25 million in their ICO, and we were in 2019, the peak of the bear. I think their valuation went down to like 20 or 40 million dollars.
It was rough.
It was very it was very low. It was like I think COVID hit, everything tanked, obviously including Decentraland. Its lowest point was like 20 million. I remember seeing it. I was like, man, this is great. This is a great buying opportunity. But anyway, so right now, after the Zuckerberg announcement, they ended up, at 3.6 billion, a little bit more than that, like 5.5 billion. So then we have, man, I lost it. But Bored Apes, the ape token right now, as of today, the launch of today is 748 billion. So we're looking at what, 5x? Yeah, around a 5x.
And that's assuming, again, like that the space overall just doesn't the floodwaters don't raise, which is not going to happen. If ApeCoin, if it truly does catalyze like a new next wave for the metaverse sector, then you can expect the whole thing to rise in unison, right? So
for sure.
More than likely, Mana, Sandbox, all these, these like blue chip metaverses that exist in the ecosystem are going to go up and ApeCoin to follow, right? So I mean, it's just another example. Keep your eyes on the metaverse, man. Like it's not one you can let go. It's definitely not a trend.
Yeah, it's
definitely don't listen to like mainstream opinion on what the metaverse is.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's so much capital being thrown into the metaverse, right?
Yeah.
because it's definitely it's here to stay.
Yes.
So
you're right. So as the popularity of metaverses go up, the flood you're saying, everything rises along with it. But it's going to take, I'm predicting ApeCoin a while before there's an actual metaverse you could jump into. But
oh yeah, 100%.
They're still going to sell land. They're still going to sell whatever it is they're going to sell to generate more revenue. But you know, Bored Apes, they have that branding power. So this is something to pay attention to for sure.
Yeah, to put it in context as well, just so people know, like Decentraland, I think if I remember correctly, raised I think roughly 20 million, 25 million from their land sale.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time was huge, probably one of the biggest NFT sales of all time back in those days. Yep. You know, but if Yuga Labs is projecting like $500 million in revenue from the sale of their lands, like, I mean, that's a 20x, you know, additional funding treasury for development, you know.
Well, only Bored Apes could do this. Only Bored Apes could do this. Any other PFP project that does a sale, they're not going to be generating $400 million.
No, but so this is what we're kind of like speculating on here. Well, what's the trickle down effect from this? Because I mean, everyone's going to see and witness this, and they're going to want a piece of it themselves, right? So I mean, there's already a PFP mania has already came and went, sort of. I guess there's still PFP launching, but the mania I think is kind of behind us at this point. But there's probably like thousands of communities now that are holding, you know, PFPs, NFTs, and they're trying to figure out what to do next with all these. Again, this IP that was just kind of spun out of nowhere, out of the air. Well, Bored Apes is kind of like showing the way, I guess. Like I think I'm expecting that to be the trickle down effect. Like it's just more PFP communities are going to want to find their entry point into the metaverse, do land sales of their own, you know, figure out how to expand their revenue models and you know, grow their community even further from here. So
yeah, man, we were,
to me, these are all the necessary ingredients for a mania, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we predicted this. I mean, if you go back to our videos, we were talking about how as soon as Zuckerberg mentioned, or actually, I mean, he did the biggest change you could make, is changing his company's name from Facebook to Meta. But spending $10 billion for building a metaverse in Zuckerberg's image, it sent a signal where we said that every single company is going to, every single PFP project, every single company that's in the crypto space are going to have some semblance, some desire to exist in the metaverse. And and now with Bored Apes, just, you know, solidifies this for the entire PFP NFT space. And like you're saying, we're going to see more PFP projects talk about being in the metaverse and potentially going into existing metaverses or building out their own. And we know what it's like to build in the metaverse and to build a metaverse. It's extremely complicated, and there's no like guide. So you're just basically building blindly into something that that could be sustainable, right, for your own community, because your community needs to want to buy land and then deploy content on that land, and everything costs money. So so there's some necessary like PSAs to put out.
Yes,
exactly.
Along with this video, in the sense that Bored Apes, through our analysis, it's kind of like a pretty safe bet as far as like whether or not they'll be able to execute on this, because we understand the difficulty, but we're not Bored Apes. We don't have access to infinite resources and you know, stuff like that, but they do. So this is a reason why they're blue chip. Like, it's safe to invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum. You know, they have staying power, they have network effects, they have infinite liquidity and infinite, you know, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You're almost not going to get, it's almost like 100% chance you're not going to get rugged. If you do, by investing in Bitcoin and ETH, the whole show's over. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. So Bored Apes is probably up there, like, and they're leveraging that power. But like, if we're correct in our prediction, this sparks like a new NFT, PFP, metaverse, whatever the fuck, mania during like this upcoming summer. Just be careful, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say a lot of things. Like, they can achieve this, they can achieve that, and they're going to raise a lot of money selling land, but there's going to be a lot of rugs, just like the PFP craze. Dude, same thing all over again.
Such a good PSA, dude. You're right. Every single PFP project, every single one is going to be talking about how they're going to exist in the metaverse. And the key thing every project is going to be saying is that you're going to be generating revenue from their NFTs, which is profoundly complicated to do. A very few NFT projects have successfully done it. Very few, like a handful. And so to have every single PFP project claim the same, I mean, it's just not going to happen. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is big news for everyone in the metaverse. So or anyone who has a PFP project, there's a sort of light at the end of the tunnel where you have a direction. You know that you need to go into the metaverse now because Bored Apes are doing it. But to achieve that in a sustainable way, that's the challenge. And it's a challenge even Bored Apes have to figure out. But like you said, since they have infinite resources, you can pretty much bet in one way or another they'll figure something out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even like if it doesn't end up being like a, because people like you and I, we appreciate utility and like actual true value creation over anything, but that's not necessarily where the market direction usually heads. It's more like whatever the narrative is, whatever the market demand, like whatever the marketing genius is, such as people like Yuga Labs, like figure out what the people should desire, because they're the ones who are going to determine that, right? Whatever it is, Yuga Labs theory crafts in their freaking foundation room.
Yeah.
Like,
but here's the thing. It's like you're 100% right. They have a superpower that no one else has in the NFT space. They can pretty much do nothing and they'll be fine. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to be in the metaverse. They don't have to launch a token, but they are. And whether they screw it up or not, they're still Bored Apes and they'll still have that branding power. But everyone else, they don't have that wiggle room that these guys have. So they whatever they execute, whatever other PFP project executes for existing in the metaverse, they have to do it right. Because if they make a mistake, people would just leave the project. Nobody's going to leave Bored Apes now. Like, who would leave Bitcoin? Who's going to leave Ethereum, right? If you're holding those tokens. So
exactly.
That's the challenge. I was just going to say that's the challenge for everyone else, is that not only are you competing with Bored Apes, but you don't have the wiggle room that they have in terms of making mistakes.
1,000%. Which is, again, adds into our PSA. It's just be cognizant of that, but still, it's going to be exciting to participate nonetheless. Just like that's why I'm bullish about this, in the sense like I could see it. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of DeFi summer a couple years ago, right? Like we saw the compounds and we saw the APEs launching, like these blue chip DeFi products are starting to come out of, they're out of the bear market. There was nothing to be bullish about at the time, but once these DeFi products started to establish their presence and like their utility, and like they started to build communities and they started launching tokens just like Ape's doing, and as we know, tokens is the best way to galvanize a community. Look what happens to Dogecoin. Is she largely like nothingness, can just galvanize a community just by the tool of the token itself. Like that is the anchor to like pull people in.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
And that's the problem with like these PFP projects. There's only 10,000 NFTs. Right. It's kind of hard to build a community beyond your 4,000 or 5,000 NFT holders. Like that's the purpose of these tokens. Now you can have an infinite scale of community with these tokens, right?
Yeah, 100% agree. So, this is how they expand their community. Now anyone can buy a token, and all of a sudden you're in the community.
Yeah, so there's probably more videos we need to make in the future as this project develops and stuff. But we already know they have plans to leverage this token as a spending currency, similar to MANA, right? Like MANA, you could use in the Decentraland marketplace. You could buy wearables, you could buy land, you could buy names. There's actual utility to that token. You could use it for governance. So I'm assuming the Ape token is going to use all those same principles for their metaverse. And it works. That's a good utility token.
Yeah, I would expect that in order to buy land, you're going to have to buy ApeCoin token first.
I would assume as well, but we don't know yet. But those details will for sure come out, and once they do, we are going to have to make another video.
Yes.
100%.
All right, guys, that's been Bored Apes. Let us know what you think about this token drop. Let us know if you got an airdrop, if you're one of the lucky Bored Ape holders out there. And make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.